Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are diving deep into one of the most chilling ghost stories the sea has ever produced. It's a story that kicks off with a terrifying radio message, and it ends with a ship full of dead bodies, a mysterious explosion, and a puzzle that, to this day, has never been solved. We're talking about the SS Ourang Medan. Just imagine hearing this crackle over your radio. This broken message was the absolute last thing anyone ever heard from the Ourang Medan. It's the first terrifying clue in a mystery that honestly just gets stranger and stranger.
So let's set the scene. The year is 1948. We're in the Strait of Malacca, which is one of the busiest, most crowded shipping lanes on the entire planet. The sea is calm. Everything seems normal. But that calm is about to be completely shattered.
On that day, several ships in the area start picking up a frantic distress call. But it wasn't a voice. It was the unmistakable dots and dashes of Morse code, a system that's super reliable, designed to cut through any kind of static over huge distances.
And once they decoded the message, well, it painted a scene of just absolute horror. It starts with a standard SOS. It identifies the ship, but then it escalates fast. It reports that officers and crew members are already dead, before just trailing off into that final, haunting and incomplete thought. I die.
After that last message, nothing. Just silence. The radio operators on the other ships knew something awful had just happened. The closest ship, an American merchant vessel called the Silver Star, didn't even think twice. The captain immediately ordered a course change, pushing the engines to full speed to get to the Ourang Medan's last known position.
But as the Silver Star got closer, the crew was just confused. I mean, you got to put yourself in their shoes. They're expecting to see a ship on fire, sinking, maybe signs of a pirate attack. But instead, they find the Ourang Medan just floating there peacefully. It was completely undamaged, but there was this eerie, total silence hanging over it. No people, no smoke, not a thing.
So they try hailing the ship, blasting their horn, using loudspeakers. Nothing. The captain of the Silver Star gets a boarding party together. But as soon as they set foot on that silent deck, the bizarre mystery turned into pure, undiluted horror.
The deck was littered with bodies. The entire crew and even the ship's dog was dead. And the way they died, just awful. They were frozen in these postures of pure terror, faces twisted, eyes and mouths wide open, arms reaching out as if to fight off some invisible threat. But here's the crazy part. There were no wounds, no blood, not a single sign of violence or a struggle.
Then they get to the radio room and they find the man who sent the message. He was slumped over his equipment, dead, with his fingers still resting on the Morse code key. He was frozen at the very instant he sent that final, terrifying transmission.
Okay, so the boarding party is completely shaken, but they decide the only thing to do is tow the ghost ship to the nearest port and let the authorities figure it out. But just as they start to hook up the tow lines, smoke starts pouring out from deep inside the ship, specifically from cargo hold number 4.
That smoke very quickly turned into a raging fire. The rescue team barely had time to cut their lines and scramble back to their own ship before a huge explosion just ripped the Ourang Medan apart. The ghost ship sank in minutes, taking its dead and all of its secrets straight to the bottom of the ocean, leaving exactly zero physical evidence behind.
With the ship gone, all that's left are the wild stories from the crew of the Silver Star. So, what in the world happened here? What could possibly kill an entire crew in such a terrifying way, without leaving a single mark, and then cause the ship to literally self-destruct? Well, any official investigation hit a brick wall right away. A huge one. According to Lloyd's Shipping Register, which is basically the official record of all merchant ships, a vessel named the SS Ourang Medan never even existed. That fact alone strongly suggests the ship was operating under a fake name, probably doing something illegal.
So the leading theory is that the ship was smuggling a nasty, unregistered cargo. Remember, World War II had just ended, so the seas were filled with leftover military supplies. Now, if a container of a potassium cyanide leaked and mixed with seawater, it would create a poison gas, causing the crew to suffocate in terror, which fits the description. And if they were also carrying something like unstable nitroglycerin, well, that would perfectly explain the fire and the massive explosion that conveniently got rid of all the evidence. But then there's a darker theory, one that points to a secret military mission. Some researchers actually believe the ship was transporting biological weapons from the infamous Unit 731, a secret Japanese program that conducted truly horrific experiments on people.
A leak of some experimental nerve agent could explain the strange, mark-free deaths, and the top-secret nature of the mission would explain why the ship was completely off the books.
Now, you might think that's just a wild conspiracy, but this theory got a lot more interesting decades later. In 2003, the CIA declassified a document from its own files. It was a letter sent to the agency way back in 1958 that detailed the entire Ourang Medan incident. The fact that the CIA held on to this for 45 years proves that, at the very least, this ghost ship was on the radar of American intelligence.
So in the end, where does that leave us? We're left adrift with nothing but questions. Was the SS Ourang Medan just the victim of a tragic accident, a case of smugglers getting careless with some really dangerous cargo? Or did it take a much more sinister secret? A hidden legacy of war and forbidden science down to its watery grave. The ocean, as they say, keeps its secrets well.